All right, let's just get right into it. We're going to have a real, honest talk today. You know, what they call fadfada in Arabic, a space to just get it all out. We're talking about that incredibly frustrating, exhausting cycle of trying to quit something and failing over and over again.
And look, if this topic caught your eye, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. That feeling of complete exhaustion. The hopelessness when you feel trapped. You've tried, I don't know, thousands, maybe millions of times, and it just doesn't stick. It's an incredibly heavy thing to carry around.
But here's a wild thought. What if the source we're digging into today is right? What if all those attempts, all those failures weren't actually real recovery attempts at all? I know that sounds crazy, but stick with me because this one idea could change everything.
Okay, so to even begin to understand that, we have to totally shift our perspective on what addiction even is. It's probably not what you think. So our source frames it like this. Addiction isn't some moral weakness. It's not about a lack of willpower. Think of it more like an inner cry from your soul. It's this powerful, desperate signal trying to get your attention, pushing you to figure out who you really are. It's almost like a misguided attempt to find yourself.
And this is so important. The real goal here isn't just to stop the behavior. The real win, the grand prize, if you will, is to completely change how you see yourself, how you see other people, and how you see your own actions. That change in perception, that's the victory, even if the fight to get there takes years.
All right, now we're getting to the core of it. And honestly, this next part might be a little unsettling because we're about to expose this hidden trap, this cycle that keeps so many of us stuck without ever realizing it.
So, if the goal isn't just to stop, if it's not about a perfect record, then what does a successful attempt even look like? What's the difference between someone who's just not doing it and someone who's actually recovering?
Well, this brings us to a really key idea from recovery communities, often called the dry drunk or dry addict. This is the person who on the outside looks great. They've stopped the behavior. But on the inside, nothing's changed. The addictive mindset, the old ways of thinking, they're all still there. For that person, relapse is just a matter of time. And here's the absolute bombshell from our source. The most shocking part, those things you do right after you relapse to try and fix it, you know, the promises, the prayers, the guilt, they're not helping. In fact, they might be part of the addictive cycle itself. Okay, let's break this trap down step by step, because this is a game changer. Step 1, you relapse. Step 2, boom, you're hit with this tidal wave of shame, guilt, regret. It feels awful. So step 3, you do a quick fix. Maybe you pray, or you swear you'll never do it again, or you just distract yourself. And here's the trick. Step 4. That action gives you a tiny temporary dose of relief from the shame. And then step 5, the final part of the trap, your brain latches onto that relief. It uses it to lower your defenses, to make you feel okay again. And in doing so, it's actually preparing you for the next relapse. It's a vicious, brilliant, and deceptive loop.
So you might be asking, why do I keep falling for this? Well, it's not a character flaw. The answer is actually in your brain's chemistry. This is what the source calls the hijacked brain. Think about it like this. Over a long time, addiction literally starts to change the physical structure of your brain. The parts responsible for making good decisions they get impaired. It's not that you're weak-willed. It's that your brain is no longer operating in your own best interest. It has been hijacked. And this hijacked brain is sneaky. It's a master of deception. It'll tell you things like, you're in complete control. Don't worry about it. It'll convince you that you don't need to avoid triggers, that just a little bit won't hurt. It tells you that mindlessly scrolling social media is totally harmless. All it wants is that quick hit of relief, not real healing. It makes you choose the wrong path, even when a part of you knows better.
And this isn't just some abstract idea. There's real science to back this up. The source points out that functional brain scans of people deep in addiction actually show atrophy. That means shrinking in the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain that's supposed to be the CEO, making sound judgments. So when you feel like you can't just say no, you're literally fighting against your own brain's altered wiring.
Okay, so that sounds pretty bleak, right? We've got the trap, we've got the hijacked brain, but knowing this is actually our way out. It all starts with completely redefining what success even means in this fight. So check this out. It really comes down to two different paths. On one side, you've got the dry addict. They might look perfect.
Maybe they've been clean for a few days, but inside, their mindset is exactly the same. But then, you have the person in true recovery. They might still stumble. They might even relapse. But the huge difference is their mindset is actively changing. They're fighting with an awareness of the trap. They get it.
And this quote from the source just hits it home perfectly. A person who relapses 3 times but fights with a new awareness is more in recovery than someone who is abstinent for 3 days with the same old addictive mindset. Wow. Just let that sink in. It's not about the number of days you have. It's about the quality of your fight. The person who's aware and trying to change how they think is the one who's actually winning.
So let's just throw out this idea of a perfect record. Forget about the shame of messing up. The real victory, the true win, is fighting this battle with a different mind. It's showing up with this new awareness, this new understanding of what you're up against. That's where everything starts to change.
So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you know about this trap, now that you understand how your hijacked brain tries to deceive you, what are you going to do differently? How will your next attempt at recovery be truly different, starting right now?